JAIN SLEE server. Let's have the platform overview. TelScale JAIN SLEE server is enterprise edition of open source project, also known as Mobisons. TelScale JAIN SLEE server is the only open source platform which also has other platforms like SIP servlets, SS7, diameter, media server, and presence, to name few. All of this are completely open source and it's compliant with the specification and works hand in hand with Java EE. This provides the easier development for the user. It's easier to profile and optimize. TelScale provides the source code to its customers, so in case if you find any bug, it becomes very easy to track it, or even if you want to contribute the patch, it's very easy to look at the source code and contribute the patch. This model helps to make the platform mature much faster and have many more functionalities, as there are a lot of contributors across the world who are contributing to this platform. There are tier 1 operators who have been contributing to the platform. Let's see slide 2. So the Mobisons is open source project. The focus is entirely on release early and release often. In this process, it's obvious that TelScale cannot focus more on quality, load testing, backward compatibility, as the focus is entirely to add new features, more and more new features, and also there are a lot of community involved in contributing. So sometimes it becomes difficult to control the quality. TelScale platform is enterprise edition of Mobisons project. The entire focus for TelScale platform is stability, quality assurance, documentation, load testing, and also for our customers we take care of backward compliance. For Mobisons we have weekly meetings where all the community guys give their updates on the achievement of the past week as well as the plan for the coming week. There are also Hudson jobs which does the functionality tests and the load tests. There are almost 1200 registered developers on the Mobisons forum. Let's look at the TelScale JAIN SLEE server. TelScale JAIN SLEE server is the low latency and high throughput application service environment for event processing. It is the only enterprise open source platform that complies with JSR 240, the JAIN SLEE server specification. It's designed for stringent requirement of core network signaling application and to support scalability, availability through clustering. The resource adapters can be developed which are cluster enabled, taking care of high availability and load balancing. The environment provides common behavior to all services, managing component life cycle like install, activate, deactivate, uninstall, stop the service, and you can achieve this via the command line interface twiddle, or you can use the UI to upload the binaries and deploy it on the TelScale JAIN SLEE server. The server is capable to handle newer version of the same services, so you can roll out the older version of the service once the new service is deployed without stopping the service. The common behavior is not redeveloped for each and every service. The service developer only cares about the service logic. This is in line with Java Enterprise Edition, where you develop once and deploy anywhere. So what's the necessity to introduce SLEE as standard? Before SLEE, the components cannot be reused and there was heavy dependency on vendor. Each of the operators had its business logic in proprietary way. It was not possible to move this business logic from one operator to other operator or from one vendor to other vendor. The components developed deployed on proprietary SLEE can't communicate with components deployed on other proprietary SLEE, and it can't even communicate with other standards like Java EE, and hence there is a requirement for SLEE standard. Let's have an overview of SLEE 2.x. It's JAIN SLEE 1.1 compliant, that is JSR 240. It gives high availability, fault tolerance, which is achieved with JBoss Cache 3.x. TelScale JAIN SLEE server has been tested for the load and it has easily achieved 1000 SIP calls per second in low class server. It has been used even for TelScale SMSC and TelScale USSD gateway, which has been deployed at many tier 1 operators across the world. At one of the operators, TelScale SMSC server has achieved almost 1000 SMS per second. Roughly, that comes to 4000 map messages per second. TelScale JAIN SLEE server is fault tolerant. The resource adapter can be developed such that the activities are replicated across the node. So even in case if one node dies, the other node can take over. JAIN SLEE 1.1 profiles are mapped to JPA on Hibernate. This allows JAIN SLEE server to be compliant with any database available as of today. Regarding the platform management, it has a very strong platform management by using the JBoss Operations Network plugin. JBoss Operations Network plugin allows to manage and monitor multiple nodes across the cluster. Other features are congestion control. So admin can define the behavior of JAIN SLEE server in case if there is congestion. For example, this allow creation of new activities or don't fire any more events. Also, the event router statistics are exposed real time. There is a very simplified logging configuration which is leveraging the log4j framework, one of the most stable and proven log4j framework. There are many extensions provided which are not part of standards but will make the life very easy for the developers who are creating the SBBs. So this slide gives you the idea of how SLEE can achieve the load balancing and failover and what all components are involved in SLEE. It's based on JBoss Cache to achieve the high availability and fault tolerance, and it uses the external database to store the profiles. The facilities available on the SLEE node like timer, SBB, activity, profile are all standard and specified in the specification JSR 240. So here is the snapshot of JBoss Operations Network page. It provides the real-time details about the memory consumed by each node, the CPU utilization. It also can be configured for alarms in case if any resource adapter goes down or the service gets deactivated, or if there are any issues, alarm can be raised on JBoss Operations Network. It also provides the SNMP adapter for legacy monitoring tools, third-party monitoring tools who can understand only SNMP. It also provides easy to use operational network console. basically the SLEE console, which is tied to each node. So via SLEE console, you can control individual nodes, each respective nodes. And the command line is also exposed for the command line lovers. TelScale also provides the Eclipse SLEE plugin. The life of the developer becomes very easy by using the SLEE plugin, and you can create surveys within 10 minutes by using the Eclipse SLEE plugin. It also provides Maven 2 plugins and repository for easy management of the dependencies and archetypes, and also provides the templates for end scripts. TelScale JAIN SLEE server provides out-of-box almost all the resource adapters that you would be needing to develop any service that integrates with intelligent network or the next generation IP network. It provides the resource adapter for SIP, HTTP client and server. It also provides resource adapter for MGCP to control your media server. It provides the resource adapter for XCAP, which is the standard for presence, and it provides the resource adapter for XMPP, the XMPP protocol used by Google Chat. It provides set of resource adapter for diameter protocol, including the base, SH client server, CCA, RF, RO for online offline charging, CX, DX and GX interfaces. It provides resource adapter for SMPP to connect to existing SMSC server. It also provides resource adapter on top of TelScale JSS7. The resource adapter includes TCAP, MAP, CAP and ISUP to take care of all your business logic, irrespective whether it's for voice or unstructured supplementary data, USSD or SMS, or location-based service, any map message. It also provides the resource adapter for JDBC to connect to any database and provide the asynchronous environment for service building blocks. And it provides JSR 309 resource adapter, which is used to control the media server. TelScale JAIN SLEE server also has enablers out of the box. The enablers are like layer on top of resource adapter, and it sits between your business logic and resource adapter to facilitate easy development of your service. So the out of box enablers are for IMS, for SIP and XDM. Apart from the specifications standardized in JSR 240, there are many more features added in JAIN SLEE server, TelScale JAIN SLEE server, which are not part of standards. For example, remote SLEE connection tool. This provides the facility for third party to fire events into the JAIN SLEE server. For example, you may be having your C++ code running in a different node or different server who has the necessity to fire event in JAIN SLEE server. It's possible to use the remote SLEE connection tool. It provides media server out of box, the SIP load balancer in case if you are developing the next generation network application, fault tolerant diameter stack, so it can connect to any of your charging server which are compliant to diameter standards, and it also provides fault tolerant SS7 stack which leverages the underlying TelScale SS7 framework to connect to your SS7 network, be it on legacy E1 links or Citron. TelScale JAIN SLEE server has dedicated quality assurance team. There are Hudson or Jenkinson jobs configured to continuously run all the functionality tests every day. There are jobs configured to do the performance testing every day. It's it's to make sure that the quality of the code or the quality of the overall product doesn't go down. So the single node and the cluster soak test has been done is done every other week, and it provides the soak test is done for 1 million calls in a time span of 24 it's run for 24 hours, and in 24 hours it achieves 100 million calls. So the daily builds are for TCK, JUnit test, and binary release snapshots. Thanks for paying attention. Please feel free to ask if you have more queries.